It's another video game movie review, and one of the more recent ones. After being left a little disappointed with this year's Tomb Raider, I thought next up I would watch the Assassin's Creed film from a couple of years ago to see how that would fare. And to put it right out there, it was another disappointment. However, this fared much worse than the latest Tomb Raider film. I won't lie, I was put off in the first 5 minutes or so. The Spanish overlays and speaking was fine since they were going for authenticity, I guess, but the jarring soundtrack did not mirror what was happening on screen. The music playing at the very beginning would have been far better suited, and from then on, the film didn't get much better. There are some moments which don't lag behind and are done fairly well, but they're so scarcely found, you can't really get into those scenes either. I feel a bit for Michael Fassbender, who tries his hardest with the script he's been given. The spine of the cast is the film's biggest draw, but even his acting chops cannot make this film rise above it being a drab. It's boring, incredibly boring most of the way through. The writing is poor. The way it tries to convey the hundreds of years old war between the Assassins and Templars is weak, and it pains me to say it. I love the Assassin's Creed franchise. I mean, it would be better if they didn't churn out a game every damn year. Black Flag is the best one, by the way, but the story did not transfer over well from game to film. In fact, so when you're playing an Assassin's Creed game, every single person will tell you being outside of the Animus and in the real world is crap. As a player, you want to be jumping and traversing the rooftops like a true assassin. Whether it's in Florence or wherever, you always wanted to be either Ezio or whoever the protagonist was at the time. You didn't want to be Desmond. The film doesn't exactly have that problem because we don't have Desmond Miles, but Cal Lynch is kind of the same character. The Templars are trying to locate the Apple of Eden to supposedly rid the world of violence, and Marion Cotillard's Sophia and her father require aid from Cal in order to track it down. He is the last of a bloodline and the only one capable of finding its hidden location. Sophia was trying to solely edge Cal into the Animus in hope of a trust forming between them, but the constant interferences by Rickon, Jeremy Irons' villain, a very good choice for the role, was starting to give Cal an edge. The more he went into the Animus, the more dangerous he was becoming. Some of the guards pointed that out, a very valid security issue, but it's just ignored by the higher-ups for reasons of not giving a bother, I guess. Cal was starting to believe the Templars, and for him, he just wanted these experiments stopped. All he had to do was enter the Animus willingly, and after breaking a deal with Rickon, he went back inside to find the Apple's location. Now, when inside the Animus, it is the best parts of the film. That's why we're here watching, at least I definitely am, and seeing Aguilar, Cal's ancestor, in full assassin garb, knifing Templar scum in every which way, were the far better segments throughout the movie's runtime. It was badass seeing him and his creed fighting against the tyranny of the Templars. The chase sequences were good, and we even got a leap of faith which was, in fair, always going to make it in somewhere. By the end, of course, Cal began to see through the Templars' lies. He'd already given away the Apple's location, which meant he had to race off to try and stop them, and apparently he wasn't the only one having a change of heart, since Sophia let Cal go on through to murder her father, only then to seemingly tease a retaliation against Cal for her father's death. A strange and odd way to end it, because a sequel is exactly what we're looking for here, isn't it? But sequel baiting has become the norm nowadays, hasn't it? Whether she follows through on that vengeance, we will probably never find out. But the assassins recovered the apple and are free of the Abstergo rule, at least until the next game comes around. My overall verdict for 2016's Assassin's Creed is a 4 out of 10. Might sound a bit harsh, but I would call this a slightly below average film. The story is bland, boring, and has no real influence at any point in the film. The current day Abstergo business I could not get into, and when added together, it's another much more disappointing video game movie adaptation. There are some positives. The panning shots each time Cal entered the Animus were cool and gave us a huge sense of scale with the war happening all around them. The costume design looked impressive, but we just didn't spend enough time with them, and that's all I can really think of on the spot. As for my favourite scene, probably the chase/fighting section where the Sultan handed over the Apple of Eden and Aguilar's partner ended up getting killed. That sequence was all-out action. It was cutting a little too much at times, so we weren't all too sure what was happening, but overall it did fare much better than the other areas of the film. The cast is the strongest aspect. I admire Michael Fassbender for giving this one a try, but in the end it just didn't happen for him, and none of it is his fault. Cheers for giving it a go though. Marion Cotillard and Jeremy Irons too put forth their resumes, and there was a minor role for Brendan Gleeson as Cal's aged old father, but even he was limited to a couple of brief appearances and nothing overly noteworthy. The story is the weakest part. It's an inherent problem which transfers over from the game. But just tell the story in the past. Wouldn't that be easier where the Assassins and Templars are there and then? Cut out the Animus completely and focus solely on the war between the two factions. If you did that, you could have struck true here, but sadly this time it was not the case. So what did you all think of the Assassin's Creed film? Were you left as disappointed as I was? And how would you have done this film differently? Let's say my idea of setting it in the time of the Assassins and Templars, I think that would be a sound idea. What do you all think? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. And as always, thank you very much for watching. Please leave a like, comment and subscribe if you enjoyed the review. And I'll see you on the next one.